Hello and welcome to the Mill. I'm your host, Dusty Crane, and this week I thought we'd just go over last week's, or I guess technically this week's Facebook live stream. There was a lot of Tapestry information, a bit of Wingspan information, some amazing Rolling Realms information, and just an overall really good live stream. Just a reminder to you, I guess, that if you have the opportunity, check those out, and if you don't, I'll do my best for you to kind of recap some of the Stonemaier stuff that you may have missed. So without further ado, I'm going to let Jamie do the heavy lifting in this episode, and I'll go ahead and yak at you here at the maybe between title stuff. I guess me being close to Canada is rubbed off a little bit.
Jeff asked if I have any examples as a designer from times where I've had to kill my darling. So when I'm working on a design, when I'm really excited about a certain mechanism or maybe even a theme, and I've had to let go of that theme or mechanism based on playtesting or based on something that did or didn't work. And I do have I have many examples of that. The freshest ones on my mind are things that I can't talk about right now because they're in current designs. But one big one that was a big part of Tapestry for a while. I have a couple of Tapestry related topics today. One for Tapestry is that originally, instead of having 4 advancement tracks on the board and the 4 income tracks on your player mat, there were 8 total tech tracks, each with branching paths. So 8 total tech tracks, and each of them had 2 different paths. So they kind of ended up being 16 different paths you could take, and you could weave back and forth between them, and there were some interactions between them. It was this giant tech tree that you could move down because I was really wanted to have that tech tree feel to a Civ game. And it play tested okay, but it was just incredibly overwhelming to look at because I don't know if you can picture that, but it's so many different actions and paths, and many of them ended up feeling really similar to one another because there were so many different benefits along these different paths. And so eventually in the design process, I realized that I needed to give that up and simplify it a little bit, but still keep that idea in Tapestry where you can advance quite a bit on one of the tracks and leave behind one of the other ones, which I know isn't necessarily realistic, but I think it falls well into the theme of building your own history, building your own civilization, where maybe you've really advanced in technology, but you've completely ignored military and just what a civilization would look like if you did that. And so I'm glad with how it turned out in Tapestry, but that was one thing that was tough to get rid of for a while because I went into it so much thinking about these tech tracks, which are still in the game, just not in branching paths the way they were originally. It says, what's my highest score in Tapestry and what civilization was that? I don't know what civilization it was, Michael. My highest score, I don't score all that high in Tapestry. Usually it's around 250. So I've probably just barely gotten over 250, but I definitely don't think I've ever cracked 300, as many people have at this point, but I have not. A push your luck, a mechanism that I've really struggled with to figure out in my games. And this comes back to Tapestry a little bit because one, I've been working a lot on the civilization adjustments for Tapestry, which should be up on Board Game Arena in a few weeks. Right now, they're just up on a Google Doc that might be a little hard for you to find, but if you go to the Tapestry page on Board Game Geek, you should be able to find the most recent, the hottest forum thread on there is about the civilization adjustments. And so I made some updates to the adjustments, and the Alchemist is a push your luck civilization, and we've really been talking a lot about that one to make it feel like push your luck, but also give players a reason to push their luck at all in the civilization, or even to choose the civilization in the first place. So, yeah, that's something to check out if you're interested in looking kind of behind the scenes at game design and the civilization adjustments for Tapestry. Jockton says, please, Jamie, do a big box for Tapestry. So, Jockton, we did a poll recently on our e-newsletter. I don't know if you answered that poll, but I do have some data now about what we can and should do or what people want us to do. And the most popular answer was that, I'll give the stats, 41% of people said that they believe that the original Tapestry box is good enough, but they want a really good insert solution that can fit everything in the box. And Compared to that, 36% of people said they want a full new organizer box for Tapestry like a new box and an organizer, which would be almost double the price of just a nice organizer. And so we have a solution in the works based on that data, but it will take a little while, and I'll reveal it when we have some more information about that. Bernardo says, I recently bought Tapestry and I love the gameplay, but I know it has received a lot of hate. Hate's a strong word, but sure, people have criticized it a little bit. Will the last expansion fix those problems, or how would it affect the base game? Well, Bernardo, most of the criticism that I've seen for Tapestry is the balance of the civilizations, which we obviously heavily play tested and probably didn't do as good of a job in terms of analyzing that data as we should have. I think a lot of people often say, oh, they didn't play test it enough. We play tested it a ton. It was more so we didn't have the best data analysis measures in place. We do now. And I would also say that every expansion improves upon that because we put the civilization adjustments, just little adjustments, on the back page of every expansion. So every expansion you get will have the latest adjustments, or you can just go to our website where we have those adjustments as well. They're just little things that you have to keep in mind at the beginning of the game. What we are doing is at some point, we're kind of working on that now. This is the topic that I was talking about today a little bit, is for any civilizations that really, really need proper adjustments, like things more than just like, oh, you start with an extra resource or an extra 10 victory points, that type of thing. We are going to release a pack of those adjusted civilizations, and actually in printed form. So you'll remove the previous version of the civilization, you'll shuffle those in. So we are working on that now. That is not part of any expansion though. That'll be its own little pack. Yeah, and I know it seems maybe a little odd that we would charge for that, but it's something that we're printing, and so I think it's reasonable for us to charge for it. Obviously, I'm not going to charge too much for it. I'll just charge what I think is enough for us to justify printing it. Yeah, Tapestry I consider a living game. It's living based on the data that we've received from you and the players who have played it on Board Game Arena or reported your scores on our website. And I love that. I love that those who have embraced that aspect of the game. Michael says, in Board Game Arena, there are experimental adjustments for Tapestry. Are those suggestions coming from Stonemaier Games? Yes, those are official Stonemaier Games adjustments. And they are currently a little outdated. They're working on implementing the latest version of those adjustments. Ali says, is the Tapestry playmat design finished? And if so, are you able to share the measurements? I'm curious if it will fit well on our new game table. It is, the design of it is finished. It is just entering production now. But yeah, let's see if I can pull up the measurements. So we designed a Tapestry playmat that can fit not only, so it's the Tapestry board on the playmat, it's the arts track, and it's placeholders for all of the landmarks and all of the cards on the playmat itself. And even though we are working on a third expansion, we are working on that expansion knowing what this playmat is. And so nothing we're doing in the expansion really changes what the playmat is. So let's see what the size of the playmat is. Okay, pulling this up on my computer here. Okay, should be able to get it here. The full playmat is 770 by 645 millimeters. 770 by 645.
All right, so that's what we had for Tapestry. Lots of little bits of information you can glean from in particular, the little comments that Jamie made on, they're not little comments, they're just comments. I'm losing it today. The comments Jamie made on the actual game mat, the neoprene mat that they're working on. While he didn't say as much, you can certainly, one interpretation of what he said would certainly be that the new expansion is not going to have new landmarks or tracks. Possibly, although I could also see an argument to be made with Jamie actually saying that since they already know what's on the neoprene mat, they know how to work with, the expansion. So I guess that's another thing. If they said, hey, we'll go ahead and we have 4 more models that we landmarks we haven't done anything with, let's go ahead and just add them to the mat, and then we'll do the mat after we reveal expansion 3. I'm not sure what the timing is on that, but I guess we'll see. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the Wingspan news, huh?
Ivan says, are we going to see Central America or South America in a Wingspan expansion in the future? Yes, Ivan. Yeah, what we've always said is that we're going to make one expansion per continent. And so we've announced Wingspan Asia is the next continent. And so after that, that leaves in no particular order, Africa, Antarctica, and what we'll probably call Latin America, because we Haven't covered a lot of birds in Central America, even though that's in North America where the core game is based. And so we'll probably call that expansion Latin America and cover Central and South America in it. There's one thing that I debated showing you today because Natalia, one of the artists for Wingspan in general, all the Wingspans, she is very kind that she always sends me and Megan one of the original illustrations for each expansion. And so on our wall we have the scissortail flycatcher, we have an owl from Europe, we have what's the one from Oceania? I'm forgetting the one from Oceania. And then she sent us one for Asia. And I know I've only revealed one bird so far, so I was debating whether or not to show it today. For now, I'm not going to show it to you, but I did receive it. I'm so grateful for Natalia for doing that. I love having these beautiful birds on our wall, and I look forward to getting it framed and put it on our wall soon. So hopefully I will share that soon. Tony says, when the Wingspan nesting box with Wingspan Asia expansion is released, will you be able to purchase more than one of them on the Stonemaier Game Store, and will the champion discount apply? The champion discount will apply. That's for sure. You will be able to purchase more than one. I think we'll probably limit it to 2 or 3. Maybe the limit is 4 in our web store right now. But I will say that each one will be packaged in its own carton because it's giant. And so they'll ship together. I don't know if there's really a shipping discount that we'll be able to offer much for shipping more than one at the same time. I'll have to look into that. But there may not be much of a discount because of the way that they're packaged.
Okay, so obviously Jamie has good friends that send him nice art, and also a little bit of news there in terms of the fact that we may actually see Wingspan Latin America. I posted about that actually on the Facebook, the Wingspan Facebook group. So if you're on Facebook, if you happen to be a member of that group, check it out if you haven't already. Seems like for the most part, most people are okay with it. There are a few that aren't, just due to how many birds are in this general area, but there's still time for things to shake out differently. We have Wingspan Asia on the immediate horizon at later this year. So let's go ahead and get to that amazing Rolling Realm news that I mentioned.
Mark says, cheers to reaching game 30 for live plays of Rolling Realms. Can't wait for the future promo realms. Me too. I have a few of the samples on their way to me from our manufacturer today. I have quite a few. I think I have 12 on their way to me today. I have 6 behind me in the Cabinet of Secrets right now. We have quite a few promos coming over the next couple of years. We'll spread them out a little bit.
Okay. I knew that there was going to be promos for games other than Stonemaier games, and I also knew that there were going to be promos for games that were coming from Stonemaier games. I did not anticipate that there would be 18 Rolling Realm promos coming. Now, over the course of a few years, but still, if you had any concerns whether or not Stonemaier was going to continue to support that title with these regular promos, I think your concerns have been laid to rest. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the miscellaneous Stonemaier stuff, shall we?
Barry says, we love Viticulture World. I'm happy to hear that, Barry. Only issue we've had is getting the hats to stay on, since our experience has been that they fall off quite easily. Have you heard others with that issue, and do you have any tips to help with that? Such a fun game. So Barry, what we found is that our manufacturer, for 2 print runs of Viticulture, without us knowing it, redid the die cut for the workers for Viticulture and made the workers accidentally, honest mistake, a little bit too small. And so if you have workers where the hats are struggling to stay on, that's definitely not normal. That's only 2 out of the 22 print runs for Viticulture that we've had. But if you have Viticulture World and you have those workers and the workers are falling off, please report that on our replacements parts form, because we can definitely send you properly sized workers where the hats do fit and do stay on really well. I think the follow-up question that anyone might ask is, how do I know if I have this copy of Viticulture or not? And it really only matters if you have Viticulture World and if you have if the hats don't fit. So all you have to do is, if you have Viticulture World, try to put a hat on a worker, and if it stays on very easily, you have the right size workers. If it doesn't stay on easily, go to a replacement parts form. But it is completely irrelevant if you don't have Viticulture World. So if you have it, go test it. If not, you don't need to worry about it. But I'm sorry that happened in your copy, Barry. Julie says, my husband is a champion, but we missed the Viticulture big box by a few hours, and I was wondering if we order it now, would it still be numbered? Yes, so Julie, I'll mention a little thing to those of you who are watching live. We have completely finished all the pre-orders for Viticulture, the Viticulture wine crate, and we thought we had sold out, but we always have a little bit of a buffer in there for copies that are delivered damaged or things like that. And so we put about 40 copies of the wine crate on our US web store last night, and I think there are probably still a few remaining. And it is the exact same thing. It's the first print run of the wine crate that has individual numbering, and it is on our web store right now. For the reprint, so the reprint that we'll start at some point. We haven't started it yet, but the reprint won't include Viticulture World inside the box, and I don't know if it will be individually numbered, but probably. I think for a special box like that, I think all of them probably should be individually numbered. So. But yeah, Julia, if you order it now from our web store, that is definitely from the first print run. It's individually numbered, and it has Viticulture World inside the box because it is from those buffer copies that we had left over after pre-order fulfillment. Those are going to go fast. So if you're listening to this, I think there's maybe like 10 left right now. Yesterday, I spent hours signing new cards. I grumble as if that's a pain. I'm honored and by the opportunity that some of you want me to sign cards. Or want to get the random signed cards that we offer on our web store. That is a great honor and very flattering that you want that. But I always forget how much time it takes. Like, it really does take a lot of time. I only had, I don't know, 500 cards to sign, and it took easily 2 hours, maybe 3 hours yesterday. And my back and neck are kind of feeling it today from being hunched over at my desk doing that. If you want to see what those cards look like, if you want to see what 500 cards look like, if you want to check out Instagram, you can see the photo today for me doing that. But that was a big chunk of my day yesterday. It says Azul has a chocolate edition. I wonder if Stonemaier could incorporate chocolate in the future. Yeah, Azul, I'm very curious about Azul's chocolate edition. It isn't actual real chocolate as far as I know. I think it is a chocolate look to it. It's something that we considered for a Viticulture re-theme years ago, a Viticulture spin-off. And so that might happen someday. I mean, I would love to work in the chocolate theme. Although, ever since I originally said that about using chocolate as a theme, some very good chocolate themed games have come out. And so I don't know if the market is really looking for the next chocolate game unless it was really, really special. However, we might do something with actual chocolate someday at some of our games, given my love for it. We'll see if we do something like that. Patrick says, what's my opinion of games such as Himalaya or Lords of Ziddick that have programmed actions as a mechanism? Would you like to design one someday? You know, programming is not something that gets me excited. I like to be able to, like I mentioned earlier a little bit, I like tactical play. I like to be able to respond to what is happening at the moment. And so I think the only programming game that I really, really loved, I haven't played it in a while, was Mechs vs. Minions. I thought that was a lot of fun because the programming was in a cooperative sense and it was part of the chaos of the game. Part of the joy of the game was that programming. But no, I don't get excited about it for a designer or for playing games in general. I played Mountains Out of Molehills recently. That's a programming game. I enjoyed it, but it was definitely because of the weight of the game. Similar to Colt Express, I think the weight of the game makes the programming extra fun. But yeah, I don't know. This is a mechanism that I get really excited about. Stonemeier's big anniversary is coming up soon, correct? Yeah, our 10th anniversary is coming up. I think we're aiming for the month, not whether that we're aiming for it. We could kind of choose any month this year to do it, especially any month in the fall or early winter. But we're aiming for September as our official kind of celebratory month. We have some fun surprises for you coming up then, which isn't even that long away. We're in July now, so only 2 months away.
All right, well, that's all I have for you this week. Thanks so much to Jamie for, doing those Facebook live streams every week, but also for, being there every week and having that conversation with us, answering questions. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call that an episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to all 3,200 subscribers. That's remarkable. I actually saw something not too long ago that said like streamers, so not exactly what I'm doing, but streamers that we've kind of gotten so out of touch. The fact that you see a streamer and they got 5 people watching. If you had 5 people sitting in your living room watching you play a game or talking about board games, like that would be a pretty amazing night. So the fact that some people have more, it blows my mind. And the fact that 3,200 of you, even if you don't tune in for every episode, which I understand, even if you don't tune in, like you still thought enough of the channel that you wanted to be notified when there was stuff out there. And so thank you. I appreciate you. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Thank you again.